So a few weeks ago, I placed an order on News Parfums from France. I got like Legend Blue, Coffee Break, and I ended up getting a decant of a new release that wasn't even out yet, which was Mugler Amen Phantasm. Well, let's just say my first impressions, I absolutely loved the fragrance, so much so that I wanted to buy a bottle, and that day it just so happened that the bottle went for sale. So today we're going to be doing my full review after now wearing it about 7 times. This is Mugler's Amen Phantasm. So without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka FragranceDoud. Thank you guys so much for joining me for yet another brand new release, full review here in 2024 in designer release, and one that I really wasn't expecting. But before we get into that video, if you're not already and you like my content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Everybody on their way in, hit that like button. It takes about 2 seconds. Comment below. Let me know if you've tried this fragrance, if you like the fragrance, if you're interested in trying it. I know a lot of you guys from my first impressions, you guys went straight to News Parfums to buy the 50 or the 100 milliliter. I know the 100 milliliter has kept coming in and out and in and out since that video. But the prices on there are actually really good. So outside of the shipping fee, which is $19, they do have much better prices because you don't have to pay the USA customs and stuff. News Parfums, I think it's $59 for the 50 milliliter and it's like $71 for the small, or for the large. Add the 19 on there and it basically comes a little bit below what retail will be, which I looked it up and it's supposed to be like $92 or $93 for the large, which has always been great for these fragrances. Now that most of the line is discontinued, you find them for like $200, $300. It kind of stresses that price range of what the line actually should be, which back in the day, whenever the whole line was available, you could find them on discounters for like 50 bucks. And so for everybody who wasn't available at that point in time, that sucks to be you. But they pretty much, this was a surprise release because before this release came out, everybody thought that line was gone. I mean, they discontinued Pure Malt, Pure Coffee, Pure Havana, Pure Wood, Pure Tonka, pretty much all of the good ones. And then they left the original, which is not for everybody. It smells good, but not for everybody. And then this one, which my wife loves, it is Amen Ultimate. It kind of smells like a vanilla cappuccino with aromatics. But with that said, they came out with the Alien line and everybody figured they were done with that line. They thought that they were done with the Amen line. Then all of a sudden they came out with the women's Phantasm. And then there was rumors that there was an Amen Phantasm. And I was like, what? And so, yeah, we got it. So today we're doing my full review of it. And this is Mugler's
Amen Fantastic.
So yes, I did take it out of the box because I already did my first impression. So I don't need to show you the box. You guys don't care about that. But the bottle is the same. It's the exact same as the other bottles. This one is just black on gray. And that is pretty, or black on silver, whatever you want to call it. And yes, the atomizers still suck. They always sucked. They will continue to suck. They did not change that. So I guess they said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they discontinued the damn line. So, I mean, unfix that. But with that said, they also discontinued one of my ones that I didn't get to try, which is Ultra Zest. I've always wanted to try that. It's like $400 online right now. But anyway, we're talking about this today. And I'm going to give you the full note breakdown since we are doing a full review. And I don't do that in my first impressions, but in the full review I do. So the top notes are pink pepper, citrus, and bergamot. The mid notes are dark chocolate and clary sage. And the base note, as always, patchouli. So if you guys don't know anything about the Amen line, the most popular ones were malt, Havana. Those are always the top two among most people. Don't go pick up Havana because you can get Xerjoff Naxos, which is kind of like the niche version of that. Or if you want the kind of clone version of that, get Rayan Insurrection 2 Wild. It's like $18 and it smells like 90% similar to Pure Havana. Then there is Pure Malt, which I have 2 bottles of, which is a fantastic fragrance. but they're all patchouli-based fragrances. They have this sweet, semi-woody patchouli that has this sweet, chocolatey vibe to it. It's like, it literally, the patchouli comes off semi-chocolatey, semi-woody, and sweet. That's the way that it always has, and it has a slight bit of earthiness underneath that, and this one still has it. So when you first spray this one on, in my first impressions, I told you, and from the decant, it was a little bit more heavy on the chocolate. So I compared it to kind of like a citrusy take on chocolate greedy. And while there still is a lot of that chocolate, there's a dark chocolate in here. It's not as chocolatey as I had first gotten from that decant. So when you first spray it on, especially from the bottle, you do get hit with that citrus blast. It doesn't come off like bergamot or anything. It kind of comes off more of like almost like an orange, like a chocolate covered orange or something like that. That's the way that it comes off to me. While the chocolate isn't too heavy, it's just a nice semi-powdery chocolate underneath that. And then you have that Amen DNA. I've heard it floating out there that some people said that like other reviewers, I guess, said that they don't get much of the DNA. I can tell you, the DNA is here. It is front and center. I mean, you can tell that patchouli is there. That DNA is there. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but it's not going to smell like any of the other ones that I've tried from the line. It doesn't smell like malt. It doesn't smell like Havana, but it has that same scent profile underneath in the base. And so, yeah. Opening, citrusy, a little bit chocolatey, has that sweet, creamy patchouli underneath it, and then a little bit of a powdery tone. As you work your way into the mid, into the dry down, as those citruses starts to dissipate, that patchouli does pull up a bit more and becomes a more center point in the fragrance, a centerfold in the fragrance, as you do get some of that chocolate mixing in. And then something that they do not put in this note breakdown, a slight vanillic tone. So the vanillic tone, it gets in this fragrance, I've told this to a bunch of people. When I first tried it, it's like the first 5 minutes was like a 7.5 for me. After that 5 minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes, it was like, oh wait, that's like an 8. And then at 10 to 15 minutes, that's like an 8.5. And then after that 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, I'm like, that might be closer to a 9. So just don't go based off the first smell with this, because as this starts to dry, it is a beautiful fragrance. And the opening is still really good. I have to say, this is my wife's favorite fragrance in my collection at this point in time. I told you guys, when I got my decant in, I sprayed it and she was like, what are you wearing?
Oh God, it's so good. So good.
It's amazing. That's like really freaking good. Like something I want you to wear. That's a hoodie fragrance. I said, I know. That's why I'm wearing a hoodie for this video. Got a little chilly outside after 90-degree days, couple days, and I was like, you know what? Perfect day to wear this. This is my scent of the day. It is perfect to wear on a hoodie. It's perfect for maybe nights out during the spring and summer that are around 70 degrees or less. I think you would be fine with it, but it is more made for the fall and winter for sure, which people always say, why are they releasing it in the summer? Well, because by the time this hits all the stores around the world that they're trying to get it to, it's going to be close to fall. So I completely understand that. You have to look at that way. Anyway, so as you start to get to the dry down, as that you get that chocolate mixture mixing together with the patchouli, a little bit of that woodiness from the patchouli, you also do get a slight bit of it seems like almost like a vanilla mixture with sandalwood underneath that patchouli in this kind of like semi-chocolatey. It doesn't come off like dark chocolate to me. It kind of comes off like, I don't know, like cocoa powder, something like that you would use for a hot chocolate. Like it smells like that. And that's why it gave me the vibes of chocolate greedy, but this does not smell like chocolate greedy. I don't know why I kind of kept comparing that in the original one, but once you get to the dry down, it goes completely away from that. The chocolate starts to dissipate. It becomes more of a background nuance, and you're left with this sweet, creamy patchouli, a little bit of a woody tone, and then this kind of sweet and creamy vanilla that is mixed together. I can't tell if it's vanilla or tonka. It's very nicely blended, but it becomes very similar to the style of fragrance that is the new Givenchy Gentleman Society Extreme. If you've tried that fragrance, Mo, one of my moderators, he gave me that idea. He was like, it kind of is in that style. I was like, you're right. Well, that one has that sweet, creamy woodiness. And then underneath that, it has that kind of coffee vibe. This one has that sweet, creamy woodiness, that vanillic tone, and then underneath that, it has this chocolatey patchouli. And that's exactly the difference between the two fragrances. They both have that same style. While I like this one a little bit better, I think both of them are great releases. I think Society Extreme was vastly underrated this year. So outside of that, outside of the citrus and the chocolate and the vanillic tones, the only other thing that you do get that you can really notice throughout the lifetime of this fragrance is that pink pepper. You guys know I'm a sucker for pink pepper. If you like pink pepper, this is going to be more of a warmer pink pepper. It's warmer, it's spicier. It gives you a little bit of a warm and spicy tone that just undertones the entire fragrance. It has a little bit more of a prominence in the opening to bring that kind of subtle sweet and spicy tone. You mix that together with everything that I just talked about, and that is basically what you have with this fragrance, with a slight bit of that clary sage in the opening, giving it a little bit of an aromatic tone, just like what you get in this. If I could compare the slight aromatic tone, it would be the slight aromatic tone that you get from this in that kind of mid area, which is between about 5 to 10 minutes. That's where you get that, but then it's kind of gone. Again, the opening, more citrus and chocolate. As you get to the dry down, the chocolate goes all the way to the bottom. As you get that out the window, that citrus is out the window, and then you really do have that kind of sweet, creamy patchouli, a slight bit of woodiness, and then that vanillic tone. It becomes better and better and better as this dries, and it's just a fantastic fragrance all around. I mean, Amen Phantasm, I love it. It's not going to be for everybody. It's a semi-gourmand. It is a day or night fragrance. It's more of your calm. It's not like a work scent or anything like that, but feel free to wear fragrances how you want to wear fragrances. This isn't going to really make anybody mad that you wear it to work, because it does have a little bit of the citruses and the aromatics, so I think you should be fine with that. But this reminds me of like more of your fragrance if you're sitting at home watching a movie with your loved ones. Like, I think that's a great one. It's one to wear with a hoodie. I compare this, if I'm wearing a hoodie and shorts, that's like gym shorts. Like, that's the perfect temperature for this fragrance. That's the perfect wear. That's the perfect outfit for this. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a semi-gourmand, leaning gourmand as you get to the dry down. But overall, it still has that Amen DNA. It's still a really good fragrance. And as far as the performance is concerned, it's going to be, I mean, it says on the bottom that it's a eau de parfum, and that it's an eau de parfum sensuel. So I don't know if it's just an eau de parfum or if they're saying that more as it's more of an intimate scent, because this fragrance is not a terrible performer. It's not like a crazy performer or anything, but it does last. It lasts about 7 to 8 hours, which for this type of fragrance is totally good. It really does push out for the first hour, maybe hour and a half above average. And that's about 3 feet or so for a sillage. But for that amount, for this style of fragrance, is perfect. As it starts to get to that hour and a half mark, it does become closer to like a personal bubble for about 4 hours, and then it's closer to the skin scent. But you can notice this. I mean, I was smelling it at 6 hours. I was like, I can go like this and still smell it. And so compared to other fragrances out there, I mean, it really does fit in with the rest of the ones in this line. There are like 1 or 2 in the line that were pushed out way more, and then there's 1 or 2 that really were sucked. But for the most part, this line has always been around that 7 to 8 hour mark. I mean, on clothes it's going to be more, but on skin it's about 7 to 8 hours. So yeah, that is Mugler's Amen Phantasm. I think it's one of the best fragrances of the year. Again, my wife loves it. Again, it's not going to be for everybody. It's a simplistic, again, semi-creamy patchouli, chocolatey vanillic fragrance with that citrusy opening, a little bit of spice. It's very simplistic, but it's very, very nice. It's almost like if you took the style of chocolate that you get from Chocolate Greedy and then you mix it in with that Amen DNA and a bit of citrus and spice. That's the way that I can look at this fragrance, and then you get that vanillic tone in the base. So yeah, not gonna talk about it anymore. Amen Phantasm, I will give that an 8.9. I love the fragrance. I think it might be my favorite one of the year. It's battling the Scent Elixir and Boss Bottled Triumph Elixir. I can't speak today, but I won't say that it's my favorite yet, because we still have Spice Bomb Dark Leather to come out, and I have a feeling that might be my favorite. But yeah, let me know if you guys have tried this out, what you think about it, and again, I will be back with another video. Thank you so much. Peace out.